the first part that comes up on a film, and none of these are of any more importance than each other. It's simply, I'm going in the order of, for me, when I'm working on a film, the thing that comes up first, the thing I'm requested from me first, is always a first look. Because oftentimes they released a first look while you're still shooting the film. It functions kind of like an announcement that the film is being made, or if the world already knows that, it might announce, this character is returning, or it might announce that the movie's taken a different turn and they're doing something new this time around. So understanding what they might be looking for to announce the film is really the first thing I'm looking for in terms of photography. So, for example, ironically, this was my first look on Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. And I had come onto that film after working with David on Star Wars, and we'd kind of gone into this film as a photographer and junior photographer. I was not apprenticing, I was shooting with him, but the responsibility was absolutely on him. And it was more for me to learn and to really be able to step into my own as a photographer. So when unfortunately David fell ill and was sent home for a few days, I expected that the filmmakers would then bring in another photographer of his echelon to replace him. And instead they came to me and said, well, you're going to do it. You're just going to handle the week. Which of course made me absolutely panic. And, David calmed me and said, it's fine. We've got most of the action scene. It's all covered. We're halfway through. Like, just be here and be on hand, get what we can. No big deal. And of course, the first day of being on set alone with this weight on my shoulders, our director was setting up a shot where Ethan Hunt and Ilsa Faust, who was a new character, they have this lovely little spin that they do that was very rehearsed and choreographed. And they were filming it with two cameras at one time to get it all at once. And the director yelled out in front of the set, David James. And of course, David wasn't there. So I came over, I'm going, I'm here, what do you need? And he pointed at his monitor and said, that's the still that I want. That's going to be our first look. It's pressure enough when you are photographing a scene without that kind of specific guidance, and you come to a filmmaker afterwards and go, here's what I've shot. There's something nice about them saying, I didn't even know you were there. This is great. But when they've given you a very, very specific, that's the frame I need, the pressure feels huge, especially for me in that moment in time. And when I went to go see how they'd laid out, where I could be to get this image, I discovered that they were filming it with two tracks going into one point. So the cameras are both on dollies and they come in and they land right next to each other. And that's where this moment happens. So there's physically nowhere I can be to get this frame unless I'm in front of a camera and I'm then in the shot. So this is where etiquette comes in, and having a really good relationship with the team around you. The camera operator on the dolly to my left could see the dilemma I had, and said, hop on. And he allowed me to stand behind him on this tracking dolly with my knees pushed into the top of his armpit so that we could kind of structure ourselves so we weren't wobbling, because he had a handheld camera on his shoulder to film the scene. And I'm now standing with my camera above his head as close as I can get so that I'm not shooting down. And I'm literally trying not to hit him in the head, not to fall off the dolly, not to knock him or the camera, and also focus on the scene to get this shot. Meanwhile, there's a grip holding onto me, and there's a grip holding onto him, and another grip pushing the dolly that we're on. And this all happens very quickly. And I shot off a few frames above his head and hoped for the best. And the director came over afterwards, and we're looking at the back of my camera, and thank goodness, this frame was among them and became the first look. And the reason he saw this as the first look was because it introduced this new character alongside Ethan Hunt. So you're not going to give a first look for a Mission Impossible movie without a picture of Tom Cruise, but they were excited about introducing this new character. So having the two of them together, gun in hand, clearly an action film, but you don't quite know what's going on. Is she good? Is she bad? Is he protecting her? Is she protecting him? We don't know what the scene is, but it tells you enough that you're going to want to go and see it. And hence, first look.